Reports claim, Meghan, that you are afraid of Princess Catherine's visit to Boston next month. No, not at all. In fact, if she's going to be here, it would have been nice to catch up, but I'm not in the area, so... Afraid? My Meghan isn't afraid of anyone or anything. Well, actually, you're afraid of poor people, aren't you, Meghan? Yeah, I don't mind them in small doses, but just not too often, and for prolonged periods. Don't get me wrong. They're great and all that, but especially if you can get a photograph of them. You can look all compassionate and charitable. Indeed. But yeah, they can make me feel a bit icky. Yeah, and when the cameras are off, what do they really offer? No offense, but without the cameras, what can they do for my Meghan? Eh? Yes, a bunch of good-for-nothings. But it is claimed, Meghan, that you are concerned about Kate's upcoming visit because not only is she popular in the UK, but that if polling is correct, she's about twice as popular as you in the US without ever stepping foot there. Yeah, I wouldn't trust the polls. Any of the Eastern Europeans, really? Yeah, no, the polling. Oh. And besides, we've got a plan to, boost my popularity just before she arrives. So, watch this space. Can you enlighten us as to what the plan is, Meghan? Well, we'll keep that under our belt for now, if you don't mind. All of the details are pinned on the corkboards back at Mission Control. But we're just, finalizing some of the specifics. Intriguing. Yeah, and I'll tell you what else is intriguing. Why? Why would she be so popular? More popular than my Meghan. It makes about as much sense as algebra. 3a equals 24. No, 3a equals well, according to a majority of Americans, Prince William's wife embodies everything that they'd expect in a princess who's destined to become queen. Beauty, grace, regal bearing, and the ability to connect with the people. Beauty? Are you really telling me that my Meghan isn't beautiful? Yeah. Grace? Yeah. Are you telling me that my Meghan hasn't got grace? Regal bearing? The only reason she even met me was because she had her radar set on becoming regal. I downloaded an app. Ability to connect with the people. Just the other morning, I witnessed my Meghan having a deep and detailed conversation with a, common cleaner lady, Granted, she worked for us, and Meghan was just, increasing her workload. But at the same time, they were connecting. It has been suggested that your Netflix documentary may be released as early as next month. Yeah. I'm excited. Oh, yeah. Very excited. That is, if excited meant terrified. Yeah, Liz Garbus, the filmmaker, she was very much, in charge, right? Oh, yeah. Nothing got past Liz. She controlled the whole, tone of the documentary. Hell-bent on pushing her own narratives. Yeah, so some of the stories, may not be quite, how we would have told them. You can't blame us. Nothing to do with us now, basically. Yes, Meghan, I heard about your crafty attempt to distance yourself from the documentary before it's even been released, leading many of us to assume it's going to be pretty scandalous. Yeah, we have to wait and see. All I want to say is Liz Garbus, and her team, we're running things. Liz Garbus. Yeah, that's Gubras. No, it isn't. Yeah, well, the important thing is that Liz did it. That's right. Yeah, but all in all, it's one of those things that, after a few months, everyone will be able to sit down and have a good laugh about. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, I can really see that happening. Yes, well, we have a question here from a Lancelot Lombardi who loves rum in general but dislikes Bacardi, who asks you, Harry, why, when you were travelling to Pearl Harbor recently, did you have a spokesman confirm that you were there on a personal capacity? Well, because I was, just there in a personal capacity, showing my face and giving people hope by my presence. I can't say I really know what Lancelot's going on about. I happen to love Bacardi and Amaretto. Yeah, I'm a bit lost. I'm not quite sure where this is going. It's all a bit confusing. He was there in a personal capacity. Yeah, I was there in a personal capacity. A personal capacity? Yeah, just there in a personal capacity. Well, I think the point that Mr. Lombardi is trying to make is as opposed to what? I mean, what other capacity do you have left? Because that's all you've got now, isn't it? You're in your personal capacity. I mean, in your attempt to become independent, you burn all of your bridges with the royal family. So now you're producing podcasts and documentaries, writing books, and, rampaging around the world in a vain attempt to stay relevant. Well, if all else fails, I can just let go of everything and fully commit to my musical career. Go on then, Harry. I don't know why I love you, but I do. I don't know why I cry so, but I do. I only know I'm lonely and that I love you only. I don't know why I love you, but I do. We have a question here from a Matilda McGill, who prefers up to downhill, who asks, does accepting an award for standing up against structural racism within the monarchy effectively finalise your split from the royal family? I don't know, why would she say that? Oh, she may prefer uphill, but the quality of these questions is certainly going down. Well, I think what she's asking is, does posing as a victim, even though you'll be attending a gala with individuals steeped in so much white guilt they'll pay $1 million for a ticket, make a reunification with your family forever impossible? Yeah, listen, they need to wake up and smell the coffee, right? Yeah, and stop sipping their cups of racist Earl Grey. Facts are facts, We all know what happened. And if they decide to be, bitter and cynical after being called out for their racist behavior, instead of, apologizing and asking how they can improve themselves, Meghan would be happy to give them a few pointers. Then they're just going to show themselves for what they are. I mean, we're receiving an award for bravery, for standing up to it, standing up against the racist structures, but people still want to claim that it didn't happen, that it doesn't exist. No, the discussion's over now. The debate's finished. We've won an award. I mean, how can you win an award for standing up to something that doesn't exist? Well, that was my question exactly. But Meghan, was this always the plan? I'm not sure what you mean. Well, was this ever going to go in a different direction? I mean, from the moment you set eyes on Harry, was the racism accusation already locked and loaded and ready to fire, with Harry just too stupid to notice? What? Stupid? Yeah, well, maybe. Only stupid because I didn't even notice the rampant structural racism before I met Meghan. Yeah, didn't even know what it was. I always assumed it was something that was invented by elitists and academics to use as an excuse to control our lives. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? When in reality, it's real, and can only be perceived by the most perceptive among us, and only stood up against by the very bravest among us. Indeed, Harry, although if we look at this situation from outside of the stranglehold of the virtue signalling wokerati, then aggregated reports seem to imply, Meghan, that you bullied, spoke to staff like trash, broke from traditions, dominated interviews, made no attempt to find out what was expected of you, and then departed from the scene at the most opportune moment in order to accuse the institution of racism, effectively leading to a podcast, book deals, documentary deals, and further interviews where you can articulate a fresh portrayal of yourself as a victim.
And?
So are you sure this wasn't your plan from the very beginning, like many who were accused of being cynics predicted? Now, it wasn't planned, but perhaps it was written in the stars.
As is us making loads of money, loads and loads of money. It's not what we want, but it is written in the stars.
Yes, the trailer for your upcoming Netflix documentary has been released, and isn't it a beauty?
You really think so, Kobold?
I do, Harry. Yeah, I thought it came across really well. There was some drama in there. There was some suspense. And then there was some, lovely pictures of us, joking and being affectionate.
Oh, I loved it, Meghan. I love you, Meghan. In fact, I think I might even write a poem in a bit.
Yeah, we've done a few shoots recently, to get the idea of what it's like being us, together. Those days were really challenging.
Oh, it was great, and I loved being around Meghan all day. But it was tricky, having fun and looking affectionate. It's just not something we do when we're at home.
No, that's not strictly true, Okay, they've stylized it a little bit, because, it's a documentary. So slightly fabricated. Yeah, because that's what art is about. Well, Harry knows a little something about art, don't you, Harry?
Huh? Oh, well, yeah, it's just a start, But what I've got so far is, if you were a piece of paper, Meghan, I'd draw on you with my pen.
Beautiful. There's a moment in the trailer where Harry says, "No one sees what's going on behind closed doors," followed by a picture of you, Meghan, with your head in hand, crying. You okay? You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay, thanks, I'm okay. I'm okay, thanks, I'm okay.
Come here.
No, I'm fine.
Come here.
No, Harry.
That's it. You be strong.
So immediately after the image of you in tears, Meghan, it cuts to a stern-looking picture of Kate alongside a shrill musical accompaniment.
Subtle, wasn't it?
Not at all, Harry. Although I was wondering, had the timing of the release been coordinated in an attempt to overshadow William and Kate's visit to Boston? No way. I can't believe that people would think like that.
Liz did it.
So are you expecting our gorgeous viewers at home to believe that you were entirely unaware that your trailer, which featured a musical camera work stab at Kate, would coincide precisely with their visit to Boston? What do you mean they're already here? Oh my God, we didn't know. They're already here?
What? That was this week? No, because I'm sure I put it in my diary for next week. Did we put it in the diary for next week? Hold on. Oh, yeah, there it is. 1st of December. Yeah, right under where I've written the release of our Netflix trailer. Ha ha ha.
Continuing on with the release of the trailer for your Netflix documentary, there's a particular line at the end of the clip that I would like to pick up on. You said, Meghan, when the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, that's probably my favourite line in the whole trailer. What about you, Meghan?
Yeah, I think that's a really important line, actually. It's sort of like, sums everything up perfectly. It's like a lot of people have commented on us and speculated about us, but we've never really had a proper opportunity to get our story across, from us. Oh, yes, well, except for the Oprah interview, your Cut magazine interview, your Variety magazine interview, the book Finding Freedom, which, although you denied, you clearly had influence in, and of course the incessant whinging on your podcast, the comically misnamed archetypes. Except for that, I would agree, the main problem has been that you're too shy and retiring.
Well, we didn't want to make a fuss, but, It's gone past that now. If we don't start defending ourselves and finding our voice, then we're likely to be forgotten about and slink away into the shadows.
Yes, wouldn't that be a shame? Yeah, that would be a tragedy, and one that we're not going to let happen. Well, back to this line from the trailer. When the stakes are this high, wouldn't it make sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, it gives me the shivers every time.
Well, perhaps I'm being foolish, but what are the stakes exactly? Yeah, well, first of all, our lives, and the good that we will or won't be able to do in the future, to start with that.
And all the money we might miss out on.
And two, there are a lot of hidden narratives that need to be exposed, There are a lot of victims of institutional abuse that haven't had their voices heard and won't unless we can lead the way.
Yeah, and if we can achieve that, it should lead to a lot more money. Money.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, the worry about all these falsehoods that haven't been cleared up, it's very stressful. To be perfectly honest, I think Harry's hair is at stake.
And then it will make a difference how much money we make because you can't grow this back naturally. Not this colour.
Indeed. But why exactly did you say, wouldn't it make more sense to hear our story from us? Well, wouldn't it? I mean, surely. Well, it makes two assumptions. Firstly, that you haven't been heard, which is, of course, patently ridiculous, and in fact, you haven't shut up ever since you left the royal family. And the second is that your version of events would be more accurate than anybody else's, when actually you've got a long history, particularly you, Meghan, of telling stories that bear little resemblance to reality.
When?
Well, I've got a list. The Archbishop of Canterbury married you in a private ceremony before the wedding, which of course he denied because it's not true. That South African cast member of The Lion King told you, Meghan, that they were dancing in the streets like they did for the release of Mandela after you married Harry, which the only South African actor in the ensemble denied saying and denied even happening. Also, when you said on Deal or No Deal, you were made to...
Okay, whatever. Stop being racist. Look what you've done now.
Apologies, but just one more question. Is what's really going on here, what's really at stake, is that this represents your best chance so far to finally bring down the royal family for good?
Of course not. They're my family.
Hello friends, I've created a second channel to work alongside this one. This one will now concentrate mainly on Harry and Meghan parodies, whereas my second channel will concentrate mainly on bar scene parodies and other miscellaneous parodies. So if you like them, and you would like to see more of those videos, please click on the link in the description below and subscribe to the new channel. Thank you very much. As part of the trailer release for your upcoming Netflix documentary, you shared a few pictures of you two inside a photo booth. Yeah, wearing funny glasses and silly hats.
Yeah, looking at each other lovingly and preventing ourselves from bursting into laughter.
Yeah, it was all very unnatural. But we wanted to give that impression, that we're easy in each other's company and, we feel adoringly about each other.
Which is easy for me, Meghan, because it's true.
Yeah, and I'm a trained actor, so, we got away with it. Well, you say you got away with it. However, there's another picture that features as part of the release with Meghan in tears, again, leaning forward on the sofa, with you, Harry, next to her, leaning backwards with your head flopped over, staring at the ceiling.
Yep, a haunting image. I'm sure you'll agree.
It's one of those images that really sums things up, right? Like, the pain and the suffering that we, mainly me, go through behind closed doors, like when the cameras aren't on. Yes, but there's one big problem with that statement, isn't there? That's obvious by the picture. There was a cameraman there.
Well, who else is going to film?
What I mean is it's not behind closed doors, is it? It's in front of a camera. You're trying to con the world into believing this is representative of you in real life. When, of course, in real life, you wouldn't have a photographer in the room during a moment of such profound despair and distress. Right, but I mean, you can easily imagine that a few seconds after this photograph, the director says, cut, and you snap out of your distress and assume your previous mood as you gather round the computer to have a look at the photograph to make sure it conveys the correct implications.
It's almost like you were there.
Indeed. But what surprises me is that you seem to believe nobody would see through it. I mean, it's almost like you don't surround yourselves with people more intelligent than yourselves, who would point out how ludicrous what you're doing is.
Well, we have done in the past, but once they disagree with or upset my Meghan, then we say,
I think it's time that you leave. Right. Well, returning to the photo booth snaps, it has been pointed out by the Daily Mail that they are surprisingly similar to a John and Yoko set of pictures from the 70s. Do you have any concern that your continual falseness and fabrication will come back to bite you?
instant karma's gonna get you. Gonna knock you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Join the human race.
And I bet you wish you could go back to the beginning and do things differently.
It's been too long since we took the time. No one's to blame, and no time flies so quickly. But when I see you, darling, it's like we both are falling in love again. It'll be just like starting over.
But in all seriousness, just think about how different things could have been for you. You could have been loved, cherished. You could have brought your families together for your success and happiness. You could have been honest, truthful, and respected. If you had just been a little bit less greedy for material things.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can.
No.
No, it sounds pretty miserable, doesn't it?
This needed to be impactful, right? Well, you've certainly made an impact, Meghan. Things will never be the same again.
Meghan has a significant impact on everybody she meets. If you're lucky enough to get close to her, well, you'll never be the same again.
Oh, clearly.
Look, don't ask me how it's done, but apparently you can click a like button or something, even a subscribe button. Rumour has it there's a notification bell and a sharing option. I got no idea how to do it, but if you can work it out, I'd really appreciate it.